Hey, so special delivery. Came a day early. Pretty excited. That wire's looking real nice now there. Anywho, given the expense of finding the stock Miata parts, I do have resources and they were reasonable. I tried dealing with Ben from Ben's Miata Parts down in South Florida, and he's a really cool dude. Busy, but, you know, and you gotta run on a one-man show down here, right? And I wanted to kind of be a patron, and kind of help him, you know, by buying stuff. But I was trying to weigh it out as far as what works best for me, and to continually be having to buy and refresh parts that for this car are fairly expensive. I mean, this $300 bucket of bolts here that runs a little engine that could, if you will. There's not a lot of investment in this for me, and I'd like to keep it that way. So I came across this, just SpeedyEFI. It's a Speeduino, which is based on the Arduino computers. It sounds like it's an excellent choice, a cheap choice, and it can handle everything that I'll need from this vehicle right now. And it really simplifies my setup and kind of helps me cost-wise. Instead of a MAF sensor, I'll be using a GM air temperature sensor, which is a few bucks if you go over to Advanced Auto Parts or whatever. And it just gives me more options. Anyway, pretty excited about it. It's a plug-and-play system. They provided almost everything that I could think of. The vacuum line that hooks up to that little barb down there, I just ran it through the car. That they gave you 10 feet of that. You get the jumper harness, which is very nice. It comes with these neat little 3D printed end caps, end plates, and kind of like a cradle for the plug type that is whatever it is. I don't know, Denso, whatever, but that is the Miata OE plug type. And then it also comes with a tuning cable, the air temp sensors, like I said, and an adapter to go from the Miata MAF to the GM air temperature sensor. So I think we're running speed density. Anyway, got about 10 minutes into this so far. That's not very demanding if you've any experience with other standalone systems. It comes preloaded with firmware and a base map. So there really isn't a whole lot that I need to do aside from hook it up to Tuner Studio and change a few settings, like this air temp sensor, setting the throttle sense. There's like a range, from 0 throttle to open throttle. You have to calibrate it, and then give her a go and seeing what she does. So anywho, we're gonna get back to it. I want to sand that ground over there and put that back down, and get it all clean and painted, because there's a little bit of rusting there. I want to deal with that. We rush treated pretty much everything that we could reach before with this vehicle, and just little minor spots that we've come across since. Overall, I'd say, as far as Miata goes and some of the warnings that I've gotten with these vehicles, this car is pretty decent rust-wise, and would have been in very, very good shape rust-wise had they not left it out in the rain with the top down for a year or whatever. I'm assuming it's been between the different owners just sitting out like that for a very, very long time. So anyway, we're gonna get this finished up, and then we'll be back with more. Well, all right, I think it's just about time to try and start this thing up. When we set it up initially, it was giving us 2 alarms for intake air temperature sensor and the coolant temperature sensor, because it was set to incorrect sensor types or whatever. So all we basically did was tell it to, on the coolant side, look for an RX-7 temperature sensor, which I guess is similar. That's what the guide says to do. And then we have the GM sensor, so we just go into, you go to tools here, which is not very difficult at all. You go to tools, and you'll go to, touchy, calibrate temperature sensors, right here. And you just, on the drop down, pick the one you wanted to work with, coolant temperature sensor, or which, if you see here, I have the, why would I be being a dick? I have the RX-7 AFM S5 there or whatever. Wait, that's wrong. What's going on here? Let's see. It should be this right here. I'm not sure if it's not showing that because I was dealing with a different whatever, but it's that simple. You know, write to controller, write complete, move on, whatever. So let's see, coolant. Now we go to air, and you'll see there that it's set to the GM1 and it's already been written. So I'm not sure if we have some kind of a little bit of an error there. Because why is it moving it? Well, maybe the values are the same and it makes no difference or whatever. Because this is what the one is supposed to, he's telling you to do. Either way, the values in here seem to be similar or whatever. But basically that's all you got to do. Then you have to go to tools again and calibrate TPS, right? So with nothing touching the pedal, you take your minimum reading there, get current, okay? Push the pedal all the way down, hit get current. I've already done that. So you'll see here, gymnastics tool for the shit. Where we at? Right there, right in the center. Let's see, and 100% is 100%. 0, 0, right? So at this point, I think we can just go ahead and crank the motor and see what it does. I'm going to try cranking without the fuel pump on, just to make sure that we're seeing RPMs and everything looks okay, and then we'll give it a go after that. So I haven't actually touched this fucking thing yet, so I'm gonna climb in this motherfucker. It's tight, it sucks, and I'll be back. Okay. Focus, focus. Or don't. Jesus, why is it so blurry? Alright, that's better. Damn thing didn't want to focus before. So let's see if we're getting proper RPM signal and everything else, and if this thing wants to crank, because sometimes the battery is a little weird. Like it says full voltage, but it doesn't want to do anything. So let's see what we got. Okay. Registering an RPM. Let's see, were we getting pressure? Yes, we are. Okay. I'm gonna have to look into what these little settings are. I see boost limit, engine protect on, and reset lock off. So I'll look up what those are later. But I guess let's give it a go, huh? Fuel pump on. And I'm not sure what all y'all can hear, but let's see what we get. Oh, she wanted to go. Come on. Now this engine was running, albeit like asshole, with the stock ECU and no MAF, so it should run. I smell fuel, so maybe it's getting overloaded. Oh! Well, we'll have to monitor that. It looks like the fuel pump shut itself off. Okay. Alright, so it appears we have a... Oh, I'm not very good with this camera crap. It appears we have a small technical issue that is probably self-inflicted that I need to resolve. When the engine is in the start position, I am losing power to my switch panel here. So that I will have to address. Because it's resetting the fuel pump and then the motor's not wanting to start. So I guess if I catch it quick enough, I don't know. Let's see. Come on. There we go. pretty impressive. It isn't like the most smoothest of idles or whatever, but it's a damn sure better than what it was doing before. Just gonna sit on it for a second, let it run up, warm up a bit, and then see if she wants to idle for us. But that's pretty damn impressive. So as soon as I can figure out why this panel here is resetting, and I'm pretty sure it's the power source that I used, which was the radio power here. I just tapped into that, but I guess that power is being interrupted when the switch here is in the start mode. So I'll have to find some other source that doesn't flicker, but is also keyed power. And you can hear it. You can hear the idle changing already. So this is really cool. I look forward to driving this thing around and dicking with it and tuning it and seeing what it wants to do. But that is running way better already than what I was dealing with before with without the math and all that crap. We're gonna ease off and see what she does. Not quite. All right, not quite yet. All right. Let's see. So from here, I have played around with some of these with the Megasquirt via I played around with this programming suite with the Megasquirt 3, and I'm noticing differences in what shows up on the tables and whatnot. But let's see. I'm sure basically all that I need to do though is adjust some of the idle stuff. So let's see what we can find, huh? Let's see, idle control. No. Boost limiter because I will not be boosting. Let's just go ahead and kill that. Yes, so I forgot something else as well. I had meant to order another innovative LC2. So right now, the computer is not able to read air-fuel ratios, which I'm sure is hindering this thing's running right now. So that's on me. I'm sure this thing would be running much better if I didn't fuck that up. So there's no one to blame. But aside from that, I mean, everything seems to be working really well. Let's turn the fans on before I forget. But she's coming up to temp real well. Oh yeah, that's really nice. Let's see, let's add some fuel, huh? Let's we'll start with 50. Now this may seem willy-nilly to you, but this is how I started working with the 240, so that I could ease off and try and get it idle, and it wouldn't like just eat shit on me almost immediately, and then I could start dialing the fuel up or down if the idle was kind of weird or fucky, or like I was getting bad air fuel ratios. But again, I'm doing this with one arm behind my back because doofus didn't get the wideband, so that's on me. Alright, let's go back to gauges, see what we're working with here. I'm going to slowly ease off of it and see what she wants to do. Okay, so still does not want to idle. It's tracking up in a weird place. Alright, I'm going to play with this, and I'll be back with updates later, but overall, man, I am very pleased. This is awesome. Alright, gentlemen, I have answers for you, and the answer is yes. Cluster works, fuel gauge works, my oil pressure sensor, I already know that was out, and our temperature sensor is working. So, awesome. Now, I mean, it bears that it makes sense that these things would work, given that the ECU is using the stock harness or whatever, but that doesn't mean that the ECU is capable of backfeeding the signals required for these devices, or that they're in such a they're tied into the wiring in such a way that they get those signals one way or another, whether it be from the sensor directly or from the ECU. So this pleases me. Now this here is driven by a cable directly. That cable is torn, so I need to replace that, and then we'll have a speedometer as well. I also noted that these lights and some of these warnings are working, so it may be that this ECU is able to integrate and make use of those. I guess we'll find out. All in all, I'm very, very pleased. So, one more answer, and we'll be back when we've sorted out some of our issues. Deuces. Well, it never seems to take me long to tear into items, does it? So, I want to install a wideband on this, but I didn't want to mess with the vehicle side of it, and so I was trying to find an open pin to hook up the wideband O2 sensor into. Well, inside of this nice 3D printed case they have, which is secured in the front with these two lovely little screws, I actually like it. It's modular, it snaps into place. Cool. Well, there's this beautiful board with this header here for the OE plugs from Mazda. Anyway, there's plenty of access to these pins, and it just so happens that the pin that I want, that is called out for, they gave me this diagram, and they're saying that I'm supposed to be looking for a red-green wire. There is no red-green wire, but in the same pin in the same location I have a blue wire with a red stripe. Yeah, bugs. So if I go to the front of the car, the O2 sensor plug up there has, as a signal wire, a blue wire with a red stripe. So assuming that I have some weird offshoot shit that's just a little bit out of the normal, whatever, I get this is what we got, you know, it's fine. So it's welded to that pin, well, soldered to that pin there. That should be sufficient. It's snug, it's good. There's plenty of space inside of this fitting here, as you can see, because it's not bracketed, it's just a big slot for me to slide this wire out through the same channel and have a somewhat clean installation. It would have been better really had I chosen a section of black wire for this, and it would have blended in instead of standing out like that, but we're here, it's done, and when the LC2 comes in, I already have a path laid out for power, ground, and now signal. So that should be handled, should be donezo, and I shouldn't have to fuck with it again, and that'll be good, because then we can start getting this thing tuned. I was poking around, and it looks like for $150-ish, maybe more, maybe less, I can get this thing remote tuned. So that's pretty cool. Nothing against the tuner that I go to for my other cars, but this one is nowhere near as complicated in my opinion, and if I can get it going and keep it budget, because that's the whole theme of this vehicle, then we're just going to go that route. The other gentleman does an exquisite job. It just is a much larger investment, which sometimes is necessary, but in this aspect I don't think so for some little 90 horsepower 1.6 liter Miata, you know. So incredible, really, right, when you think about it. The kids are out here going ham with these fucking cars and drifting and shit. 90 horsepower? Wow. So yeah, I'm gonna box this back up and get it tucked away, and we are ready for the next steps when our wideband comes in. In the meantime, I'm going to get on over there and start tapping into the cigarette lighter circuit and see if that solves my flickering issue with the panel when I try to start the car. Again, this should only take me a few minutes, so we'll be back with more. Okay, so we're encountering a little bit of an issue here. Our handy dandy keypad here, whether I have it on the cigarette lighter circuit or whether I have it on the radio circuit, and it could be the same circuit, I probably need to confirm that, but it doesn't seem to matter which circuit I have it on. Voltage is dropping down about by half, I'd say, so it goes from like 12 to maybe 7 or somewhere around there, and that may be perfectly normal drawdown, whatever. But what it's doing is the keypad is shutting off. Oops, well, sorry about that. That one snuck in on me. Anyway, the keypad is shutting off when we turn the ignition to start. So I'm not sure if I'm going to have to take this keypad and run it direct to battery and see if that solves the issue. But if the issue is just amperage draw, then perhaps we need some other method or manner to keep the voltage up temporarily while we're starting and keep the keypad and the system engaged. Now, I can still get the car started. I just have to push the fuel pump button to turn it back on, I don't know, within 10 seconds or so, because it does take a couple of seconds to turn on, and then, you know, to hit the switch and all that kind of shit. So it's still able to get started. Maybe that's a anti-theft feature, because the average person would be like, what the hell, I can't get this thing to start. I don't know. It's just, for me, I'd just rather be able to just push the button, have it be on, start the car, and be ready to rock and roll, as opposed to having to deal with some additional bullshit. So I don't know, man. Secondary battery, capacitors, I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure this one out, because that will get tedious. But for now, everything is working. Car starts up and runs fairly decent. We still have to figure out the intake and the water hose issue. But today is beer day, you know. Gonna go out, enjoy myself, and not be so overly concerned with progress for a day. It's kind of something everyone needs to get on top of every now and then, you know. It's just doing nothing or doing less. So anyway, this is where we're gonna call it for the day. We did that. We got our wire soldered and tucked in and kind of just squared away for when our wideband comes in tomorrow, and then we can test and see if we got that correct. But until then, toodaloo, motherfucker.